Rock musicians have been standing out from the crowd for half a century. I am the crowd. Hi! Welcome back to the Pyre video blog, here in the usual location with the usual camera, and thankfully not walking around the local park holding a GoPro in front of me and talking to a camera where I look like a complete idiot in front of everyone else there. I noticed putting the video together that towards the end I walked past a lady, and as I go past she gives me a fairly disparaging look, and rightly so. Let's really try to avoid doing that again. I also noticed that the image stabilization stuff, while it did definitely improve the result, it was a long way from ideal, and it was still lurching side to side a whole lot and made me feel a bit seasick. So yeah, if we could avoid doing that in future, that'd be nice. I said that I bought that GoPro a while ago, intending to shoot music videos with it, which, yeah, is precisely why I bought it. I also got 3 GoPro off-market, off-brand copies. I think the proper thing was about £300 and the copies were maybe 40 each, and they do 80% of the same thing. Yeah, so that's nice. But the plan was to do a music video last summer 2020, but of course the international pandemic kicked in and then that wasn't happening. So that, I don't know, maybe we'll be able to do that this summer. Maybe it'll be a bit further off than that. We'd really like to, though, just because, you know, I think music works better as a medium without the video, because it's something you can have on in the background while working or driving or doing the washing up or whatever else, and you can listen to your favourite albums again and again and again and again and not get tired of them, because, I don't know, they're only half using your mind, you know. It's why you're occupied with other things, whereas you actually have to sit there and watch a music video, whether it's on YouTube, on MTV, or on whatever else. So I don't think music videos have anything like the rewatch value, and of course they cost way more, but we'd like to have one at least, just because it's a pretty good statement of who we are and what we do. You know, why do you need a band video when you could just show someone the music video for your lead single, which is going to do such a better job of giving a potential audience, you know, a better idea of whether they'll like you or not, rather than some pretentious bio about where you all met. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to that at some point. But anyway, the point is, I've got these 4 cameras, and I had 2 little cheap tripods, and as I mentioned in the last one, lost. Not the kind of lost they disappeared over the edge of a cliff or something and I'll never see them again, but just I have absolutely no idea where they are. Not a clue. I've looked everywhere. I'm still fairly confident they'll turn up at some point, I mean, when moving house, if nothing else. But yeah, for now, stuck. So I went and bought another one. Wasn't much more expensive, but it's a lot more solid. It's as tall as I am, and probably more thickly built. So yeah, that's nice. As I said, I needed it for the 3rd camera anyway, and I'll probably need to pick up a 4th one at some point. But yeah, no, that's really nice to have done, and yeah, that's why we have had the new tripod, and we're back here. So what have we been doing since last time? I think that went up at the beginning of January. It's now the middle of February. Well, the first guitarist, I think, has begun another batch of pedals. Half finished, actually. I think he's been testing most of them, and he said the exact opposite happened to last time. So consistency is really not his strong point. He said last time the modulations didn't work, but the distortions and the functional ones, splitters and so on, did. And yeah, this time the distortions don't work, and the functional ones don't work either. but the modulations work great. So, I mean, that's not really progress, is it? It's a sideways move, but okay. He gave me this one to show. This is a circuit he's designed and then sent to a factory to have made up into boards, and then, as you can see, he's put some of the components on there, but then he ran out of wire. Yeah, some of the supplies he needs are currently at the workshop he goes to, which, because of lockdown, he can't get to, so he's a bit stuck with the rest of those. So yeah, I don't know if he's going to try to get the ones that aren't working to work, or just accept that for now there's not a lot he can do, but yeah. He and the bassist have been doing the rather scary thing of analysing and then potentially trying to rewire the bass amp we've got, which, you know, with mains voltages and speaker driving currents is a very scary thing. They said something about moving the effects loop in the signal chain. I don't know exactly. Hopefully it'll work, because that's a lot to write off if it doesn't. The bassist has also done a couple of playthrough videos. One for The Soldier, which we put up, and then he said he did a cover as well, which hasn't uploaded yet. I don't know when that's coming, but when there's a dearth of other things to go up, I guess. that's what you do with, yeah, videos when you've got some in reserve. That's it. Who else? The keyboardist has been watching 2 concurrent seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race and just talking about it, tweeting about it non-stop. The drummer we haven't heard from in a while, so we think he's probably in hibernation. And the other guitarist keeps talking about uploading videos. I think he bought a couple of new pedals. He said he got an acoustic simulator and a pitch shifty one to do those things like the squeaky solos from Killing in the Name. He said he's been playing some Rage Against the Machine stuff with that. But he said he keeps saying he's going to record these videos, and then the DI on his amp is rubbish. It sounds really bad. It sucks out all the good frequencies. And so he bought, and the first guitarist nicely assembled for him, a noise generator. This is supposed to be a white noise generator, so it's even across all frequencies. You know, like when you tune an old-fashioned TV to static, or if you leave a tape recorder on, sort of that psh, that sort of sound. Well, because it's even across frequencies, if you then feed it through something like an amp and then analyse the frequencies, you'll get just sort of imprinted in that blank static, you'll get like a footprint of that EQ's tone stamp, I guess you'd call it. Basically, you'll see what it does to a flat sound, and therefore you can see what it's doing to your guitar sound, and so you could work out, right, well, if it cuts it here, okay, if I boost it here, it might sound good. The problem is, this was £1 from eBay. Board, components, the lot. And it sounds it. It does not sound like a flat response signal. It sounds thin and terrible. We need to look at it slightly more closely and to check that it is as bad as we think. But yeah, the plan was to use that to analyse the DI on the amp and figure out what to do with that, how to fix it, and if it even could be fixed, or whether we'd have to find another way around it. But yeah, as of yet, that hasn't happened because the noise generator isn't working. So we'll see what we can do about that. I really like this camera, and it's infinitely preferable to the GoPro, but one issue it has is that it can't shoot videos longer than 10 minutes. After that, it just shuts down. It's a safety feature to prevent it from overheating. I think it's just not designed to run for longer than that. So that's what that transition was just then. Normally, of course, 10 minutes would be fine for a blog's worth of things worth saying. We got a bit more this month because I've been working on something that, yeah, would be worth giving some airtime to. So just to sort of to wrap up, that's that we've already seen is everything we've been doing since the last blog, which was sort of, I think I filmed it on the 29th. It's the 20th of February today. So we're, 51 days into 2021, and it's been a pretty eventful 51 days for the metal community. I mean, people have been talking for basically since this time last year about sort of what a terrible year it is, and I'm sure lots of people have felt that, but it seems sort of particularly that, yeah, this hasn't been great for metal fans. I mean, first of all, it came up about Alexi Laiho, who died sort of right at the end of 2020, but it didn't come out until 2021. Yeah, and then on January 6th, John Schaefer from Iced Earth thought it'd be a really good idea to storm the United States Capitol building and spray bear mace at the police officers trying to stop him. He is, the last I've heard, in custody somewhere, I think awaiting transfer or something. And then Marco resigned from Nightwish, sometime in early January, I think. And then sort of all this stuff came out about Marilyn Manson. And then just a few days ago, Delane. Every member except the keyboardist left Delane. So that's going to carry on. It's just a Martin Westerholt solo project. And, I'm sure they'll still be good, but I did really like them with Charlotte's voice, and April Rain remains one of the very strongest albums that I own. Yeah. So, slightly miserable times there for metal fans, but yeah. Anyway, one of the bands that our drummer is a big fan of, Epica, for their last couple of albums, have recorded a bonus disc. So they'll spend, 3 months recording a orchestral death metal album. It takes them only 3 months because they're very, very good at it. And know all the right people and have lots of money, sure, but they're also really good at it. But then they'll spend a day or two towards the end of that just sort of, 3 of them will go off, I guess, into a back room, work out 4 or 5 of the songs in an acoustic format with, an acoustic guitar, and I think they used an upright piano or something, and I think a piano accordion, of all things. Yeah. And then they'll record that and just do it as a second disc. And I always really liked that idea because it gives a song, I don't know, a second chance to stand out. I'm a big Iron Maiden fan, and Iron Maiden songs really, they fall into sort of 3 categories. There are the singles that everyone knows because they're singles, and half the time that's just dictated by which songs are short enough to release as singles. So something like the Edward the Great Best Of, that's basically just all their singles. Well, it's not even all their singles, it's like the top half of their singles. They have the epics, your Passchendaels, Dream of Mirrors, Dance of Death, etc., which are always the heart of the live set for that tour, and sort of everyone knows because they're epics, and in fact that's probably the main reason you listen to Iron Maiden in the first place. And then there's everything else. Maybe the odd ballad stands out, but most of them fall under the heading of album tracks. And they don't really get played beyond sort of the tour for that album. And it's really easy for them to get lost. And so I like the idea that they'll then reinvent a song with, something like these unplugged discs that Epica are doing. Look at it in a different format. And so I was always really keen on that idea, but none of us are particularly keen on the sound of acoustic guitars. It doesn't really fit with our ethos. So what we instead wanted to do was record a few tracks from the album in different styles. Like, have one that's smooth jazz, and one that's grime, and one that's whatever else you want it to be. The problem is, of course, actually getting this to sound good means you're basically recording half an album again. So it suddenly became a very big undertaking once we realised we were going to have to get it right. So yeah, that sort of hasn't made that much progress over the years since we thought of it. But there's one song that recently I really realised sort of what to do with. Track 10 on the album, Beyond Salvation, has this very quiet atmospheric intro, and then sort of I think on the third line of the chorus there, this weird electronic snare drum comes in, playing this quite distinctive pattern. I mean, I don't think we have many like drum rolly bits on the album. There's that, and there's the bridge before the final chorus in Infinite War, but I liked the idea of taking just this snare drum figure, which I don't think turns up anywhere else in the song, but taking just that and turning it into like the thing that inspires the new version of this song. And the thing that came to mind immediately when springboarding off of that was like a World War II propaganda sort of song. And we quickly realised we didn't know any of them and didn't know what to do with it. So yeah, sort of we had some ideas for the verse and that was about it, and then that completely collapsed. But recently I thought, okay, cast the net a bit wider, let's make it a march. So yeah, it's going to be marching band, like you'd hear on military parades sort of thing, with snare drums and a brass section and I guess flutes and piccolos, that sort of thing. Yeah, so that's the plan, and we put together, or rather, we're in the process of putting together an instrumental arrangement for it. It's all written, it's now just programming the orchestra. You can hear a sample of that here. So that's a work in progress demo of it that's rather rough around the edges, but hopefully enough to get the point across and hopefully inspire at least a little bit of confidence. And every little bit of tweaking we do and it makes it sound a bit better, so that's nice, and it's been really fun working on that. Yeah, and I'm really positive about how it's sounding, but I think it would be a bit weird having an instrumental version on the album alongside sort of half the other songs which have got vocals. I like the instrumental version, and I'm sure that will be released in its own form as well, but still I'd like to have this one with vocals. So what sort of singing do you have over that? And I thought about this for a while, and the idea that came to mind was that of a group of soldiers chanting. You know how sort of in every military movie there'll be a scene or a montage or something of them training at base, and there'll be a platoon or a squad or whatever running, with the drill sergeant chasing them, that sort of thing, and they'll all be singing, I don't know but I've been told, that sort of thing. Basically that's exactly what I'd like for the vocals. Sort of a unison group of men singing the melody, and that I think will sound really great. I think it'll go really well with the rest of the track. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to being able to do that, but of course we're in lockdown, so I can't exactly get the local regiment into a recording studio. That's just not going to work, assuming that was something I'd be able to do if not for the pandemic. So the next project becomes, can you fake that? And the answer is not with just one person. On the album, on the track The Angel of the Bottomless Pit, you can hear how it sounds when my voice is recorded lots and lots and lots of times and layered up. You hear it sort of mostly in unison in the chant bit in Pit, and you hear it in 4-part harmony, so more like an actual choir towards the end of Beyond Salvation, actually. Yeah, and doesn't sound the same. I don't know about saying it sounds artificial. Obviously it's certainly not something you'd hear in nature, but you know, nor is a distorted guitar. But it won't achieve the desired effect doing it that way this time. What it needs is a selection of different people singing it. And again, lockdown, can't get everyone I know just into sort of one room and all chant songs together. So I could just wait. That'll be an option, and you know, that is something worth considering. But I thought it might be fun to try doing an internet collaboration endeavour project thing. So you wouldn't need to be a good singer. Let's get that out of the way first of all. You know, we're not pretending that sort of everyone who joins the military is a professional singer. Strange and interesting though that would be, I'm sure some are, but also I imagine sort of, particularly when jogging, it's probably hard to pitch notes exactly right every time. But what it would need is a reasonably professional recording setup. I did an experiment earlier this week testing this out, sort of recording me singing a bit a cappella through every microphone and camera I could find around the place, and sort of seeing which would work and which wouldn't for this project. Because if you multi-track, you know, layer up one person singing through a not great sound on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, then all the things that aren't great are going to get compounded, and it's really not going to sound very nice. Like, you can get away with, I don't know, sort of one person singing through a not perfect setup, that sort of thing, but as soon as you put lots of them in there, it's really going to be a problem. So I will do a separate video going through those results if anyone would like to hear it. Another learning with Pyre thing, just talking through how they sound. It was interesting, but it was mostly in line with expectations. But if you've got something like a professional standard microphone, I'm just trying to think if I've got mine over here. Yeah, if you've got something like a professional standard microphone, headphones would really help. A surround shield for that always comes in useful, but it's not as necessary as you might expect. A pop shield, really, really useful. But yeah, headphones and a microphone and a stand to have it on, I guess. Then yeah, this could be really interesting. So I'm mentioning it here. I'll do a separate video on it, just you know, going through it. I think it'll probably take about an hour of your time, if that. The way I'm going to do it is sort of lead people through it one line at a time. So just like a drill sergeant would, I'll sing the line, you sing the line, I'll sing the line, you sing the line, etc. And there'll be subtitles for the lyrics and stuff. It should be fairly easy. Technically, it's not a demanding song at all. At all. And as I say, it doesn't need to be. It's not worth producing compression, EQ, autotune, nothing like that. You know, we want it to be rough around the edges in delivery quality, but not in recording quality. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to ask all the people I know who might feasibly have setups to be able to do that from home. And even if, you know, you think your voice isn't at all suitable for that sort of thing, I'm sure in a crowd with lots of others, it'll work just fine. When I did those multitude of takes for The Angel at the Bottomless Pit, you want the voices to sound differently, so sometimes I would you know, make it really high and squeaky or really low and change it all over the place, and I thought, oh, this would sound ridiculous, but of course when you layer it all up, it just sounds like you. It sounds a homogeneous blend, and that's what we're after. So that's our exciting project. As I say, there will be a video focusing just on that, and then, you know, leading people through it if you're interested. Let me know, because I think it could be a really fun thing to do. That's you know, that's what I'm selling it with. It'll be fun, not like you'll get paid, because you won't, because I won't either. I mean, no one will get paid. But But yeah, I think that could be a good thing to do. In the meantime, I'm going to keep working on the instrumental version of the track. And I guess if that goes well, you know, look at what other songs we can do. Obviously, we don't want to do the same style twice. And I quite like the idea of getting different singers in for each one. The actual proper albums I do are very insular. You know, it's just the 6 of us, so we don't get much opportunity to collaborate with people. And so this seems a really good time to try that. And honestly, doing record, mix and release one track at a time rather than a whole bonus disc at once, that's probably a much more 21st century way to do it, and sort of spaces things out until the next album. So, much longer video than normal, but yeah, I hope to have more things up soon, sort of going into mic details, if nothing else. Cool, lovely. Well, on that note, I'll leave you to it then.